Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. This is the call-in show, the Badger Lodge. Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry for the weird technical problems. Something was going on with Restream.io, and it created extra streams needlessly. So I apologize for any confusion you guys may have had. I know that there's like a bunch of alerts in the Discord. It was weird, but I think we got it all straightened out now. So appreciate you guys coming on. Sorry for the confusion. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be on camera today because there's something wrong with the OBS and camera interface. It might be because I've been doing so many other things with my camera setup, like the VTuber and this kind of stuff. So I have to like work through that, and I wasn't expecting to do a call-in show today. I normally do them the first week of November. I may do another one on the first week of November, but I'm just covering today because Hannah is unfortunately not going to be able to do an HBR talk this week because she has some family issues and she's dealing with that. So my thoughts go out to Hannah, and I hope everything is going to be okay. Meanwhile, you guys I guess you're just stuck with me today. So we're going to be taking calls, but we're also going to be talking about a particular story that I would like to get into. And it deals with a cosplayer named Inquisitor3. And I'm going to get into a bit of the story on that in a moment, but the subject of today's show, and I don't really know how to put this lightly because it seems that YouTube, it's particular about like the language people use, but we're going to be talking about suicide, specifically suicide in men. I think it's absolutely important. I think it's crucial. And this Inquisitor story is a very real example of why this is so serious. So I guess first up, let's get into the story. But before we do, just a couple of things. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button now because it does help us reach more people while we're live. This is something that can be super useful, and maybe because we are talking about Inquisitor, maybe some of the people from like the Twitch gaming community, the streaming community, will notice this and see that I'm talking about it, or that we are talking about it here at HBR. We talk about male suicide all the time. It is a big problem. It is overlooked, and frankly, it is the majority of suicides. And so, but for some reason, we don't really talk about it in the way that we should. And it specifically, this story is interesting because of the thing that drove him to suicide is another very big men's issue. So please hit that like button, and we are doing our monthly fundraiser. This is like basically how I make my living, and so like if you guys can help us out, it would be great. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to get another job, and I won't be doing this either as much or at all. And maybe some of you will think that that's a promise and you'll be happy to see me go, but that is the reality. So if you can support us, go to feedthebadger.com/support and see if you can give us a hand with that. I'm always trying to find new ways to make this show fun and raise up the bar in some way. I'm not really a producer. It was never really something I wanted to do, but I really like what we do here. I like the message, and it is fun learning how to use these tools to try to give you guys an entertaining show. So go to feedthebadger.com/support to help us out. And also, if you want to send us a message, let's say you want to send us a message and you don't want to use ScrewTube because ScrewTube has, they take like half of the super chat money, then you can go to feedthebadger.com/just-the-tip. Or if you're on Rumble, you can send us a Rumble rant. And shout out to the Rumble gang. If you're not following us on Rumble, please do, because I think Rumble could become a legitimately competitive platform, but we need more people to use it. And on Rumble, we don't have to worry about, like what we say as much. I can talk about suicide without worrying about, demonetization and throttling and all of that. So Now that all of that is out of the way, I guess we're gonna get into the stories. As you can see, I am displaying your chat in the window here. So yeah, let's get into the I guess you could say the main subject. So this is from EV News, evmagazine.com. There isn't like, this is probably the best source other than a bunch of videos that I think would be relevant to this, so that's why I chose them. And I think that they have a, you know, professional, like a pretty professional level in terms of what they make. So no other reason other than that. You know, I don't really want some gossip site on the screen or whatever if I can help it. Okay. So who is Inquisitor3? Cosplayer kills himself on TikTok Live after being falsely accused of grooming a minor. A popular cosplayer named Vincent Plici, who goes by Inquisitor Ghost, is believed to have committed suicide during a TikTok Live, and his viewers are now demanding justice. And I'll read through the article and then we can like talk a little bit about it. So Inquisitor Ghost at Inquisitor3 on TikTok, whose real name is Vincent Plici, was an Italian Call of Duty cosplayer on social media. He amassed over 100,000 followers on the video sharing app and frequently uploaded content of himself dressed as the video game character Simon Ghost Riley. His account is now banned from the platform. And here is a post from X that says, "I can't believe TikTok banned his account. We lost the incredible memories of an incredible man. I feel so bad." On October 9th, Inquisitor went on TikTok Live. The people who joined in the middle of the live stream only saw a dark, empty room at night. The chat was turned off, so his audience was unable to comment. Suddenly, his windows were smashed and someone appeared to perform CPR on Inquisitor as another unknown individual was on the phone. A voice was heard demanding in Italian to call someone for help, according to Sportschita. Another said he was hanged there and asked, "Where the F are they?" So he went on TikTok Live and he hung himself. Now, it wasn't on camera. I don't know if that was, I don't know if like the purpose was for people to find his body or what, but yeah, it's tragic, but let's get into why. So Spider Noir's wife says, this is a X person, they say, "I don't know what to say. I just hope that some miracle happened and that the paramedic saved him, even if so many people are saying he's dead." Hashtag Inquisitor Ghost. Social media users speculate that the cosplayer killed himself on TikTok Live, and his death was reportedly confirmed by a friend. A woman who appeared to be romantically involved with Inquisitor posted photos of herself with the cosplayer, and her caption also suggests that he passed away. And she wrote this, quote, "Now your anxiety is gone. You are in a quiet place. I am grateful that you have finally found peace. I love you. P.S. Your Padme." So why did Inquisitor kill himself? Now, I want to point out that from what I can tell, he was a Call of Duty fan, a cosplayer, and he was pretty wholesome. He would play guitar on his TikToks and hang out with his audience. So not like, you know, not a toxic guy at all. Not at all a toxically masculine man, okay? And I will show you guys. This is a clip from that someone, because his account was banned. So you can't really find his content on TikTok. So this is him dressed up, and he's getting I think he gets excited about like being followed or retweeted by somebody he's a big fan of. So let's play this.
We did it. Saber Theory just followed me. Saber Theory just followed me on Instagram. Saber Theory just followed me on Instagram. Saber Theory just followed me on Instagram and sent me a message. Sent me. Oh my god. 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 No. No, 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 no. No. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I am not ready. I am not ready. Oh my god.
So just like if, you know, he's in his he was in his early 20s, just like kind of a fanboy, cosplayer, hobbyist. He you know, had a social media presence, had a number of followers, seemed very well liked, just a decent guy, very popular. So like that, it's just totally wholesome, right? Like so young. This is such a shame. So then, why did he kill himself? Let's find out. There are a lot of key players to this story, so try to keep up. Several people have stated that Inquisitor3, 23 years old, was accused of inappropriately interacting with a minor by 3 individuals in the Call of Duty fandom. A woman who goes by Keegan's Mask, a man named Tito at Tito's Acting Badly, and a 17-year-old girl named AJ. And there's an X post here from someone named Cod Leach. Another guy said he had nothing to defend himself with. Everyone should believe the girls. I'm so mad because I keep seeing minors playing this game to record/screenshot everything using lies to cancel people's lives. Y'all stay away from minors. Don't even breathe in their direction. So this guy, or woman, I don't know who it is essentially just saying believe girls. Okay? If you're in this sort of multiplayer gaming space, there's going to be younger people and older people mixing it up. And this person is saying everyone would believe the girls, right? Screenshots began circulating online of messages between AJ, the 17-year-old, and Inquisitor, but it was later found that AJ, who's a woman, 17, continuously contacted Inquisitor and lied about her age. The cosplayer even had minors DNI in his bio, which stands for minors do not interact. So if you put minors DNI in your bio, you're basically telling everyone, I don't want to talk to, you know, minors. Okay? So here's a video from the Dadvocate. I want to like, I should refresh this because I think it's going to start from the middle. So let me refresh this page and then I'll play it. So the Dadvocate is all right. I'm going to try and get her on the show. I have seen her on Roma's channel, I think. So the Dadvocate's all right. So I'm going to play this TikTok video from the Dad. I think it's a TikTok. I'm not really sure.
This popular cosplayer who went by the name of Inquisitor3 tragically took his own life recently on TikTok Live following a slew of false accusations against him. His home was successfully entered and CPR was performed, but tragically his father has confirmed his passing. He was only 23 years old. His accusers are a 20-year-old man who we only know as Tito, this adult woman who we only know as Keegan's Mask, and Tito's 17-year-old minor girlfriend who we only know as AJ. The plot to forge false allegations against Inquisitor3 began in mid to late September when Tito and his minor girlfriend AJ began exchanging texts like these. AJ asks, "What the f are we gonna do?" Tito responds, "It's not a life or death crisis, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep flirting with him and see where it goes. If he starts to get, then I will expose him. We just need better and more proof." However, their attempts didn't work, and as you can see here, when AJ attempts to say things like, "I love you, date me," Inquisitor3 plainly rejects her, saying, "You should ask in general if you can DM me." She says, "Oh, sorry, can we get to know each other?" Nope. Why? She says, "I'm not a minor," a lie, but he says, "I'm not interested, I'm sorry." AJ even acknowledges that Inquisitor had minor DNI, which means do not inbox, in his bio, and she chose to still lie. This is her messaging Keegan, talking about how they need to get more evidence. So at the behest of these two adults, Tito and Keegan's mask, AJ then offers to start doing some editing work for Inquisitor3, which he accepts, believing she is an adult. Once AJ started doing edits for Inquisitor3, she, Tito, and Keegan's mask began saving any and every message that read as even remotely flirty between the two of them in their campaign against him. But Inquisitor caught on to this and even started to call her out. He said, "I'm not a fan of the way you acted." Huh? If you can please stop texting me, you'd be very kind. Damn, what did I do? I just want you to see this. You know me, you know who I am. I never exposed you. I just want to talk with you again. As he becomes more and more wise to the accusations they're starting to make about him, she starts to act even more stupid. He provides screenshots, however, of her saying, "You do know he's a, right? I got a lot of proof." He says, "So who's this?" That's when she starts to say, "I didn't do that. Oh, no way. My friend Diana's on my account." He says, "Bro, get a life." And in early October, after Inquisitor3 decided to finally stop talking to AJ for good after hearing she was trouble, Keegan's mask led the charge and they launched their attack against him. It wasn't much, but Keegan's mask began sharing these messages out of context in a desperate attempt to paint Inquisitor as a predator. The thing she left out, however, is that these were just enthusiastic responses to him finding that she had created so many edits for him in such a brief amount of time. And also fully believing she's an adult. But because she's a pretty popular girl, Keegan's mask's accusations spread like wildfire, and after multiple days of online and offline attacks, having the worst and heftiest accusations lodged against him, and believing that his life was over, Inquisitor3 left us. Keegan and Tito have both issued statements, not apologies or condolences, mind you, but excuses that all they did was share their concerns. But as the rest of us remain devastated and broken in the wake of these unnecessary lies, we do have a lot of questions to ask. Should minors face repercussions for lying about their age online, especially if it results in so much damage? Is there any justice these false accusers will face, or will they just remain anonymous trolls online forever? If you are a man feeling depressed, anxious, or struggling at all, please remember that there is a crisis hotline at 988 in the States, or just reach out to literally anyone. I can promise you that your brothers would always rather you cry on their shoulder than them be crying at your funeral. Rest in peace, Vincent. You didn't deserve this, man.
So, a competitor... Well, the suggestion is that there was someone who wanted to take him down a notch, and they constructed this whole thing. Tito behaving badly or something like that. But there's more to it. I'm gonna get into some more of this, so I'm gonna read the rest of this article. But this is serious when it comes to false allegations. And I can tell that this Inquisitor guy was probably kind of a shut-in, probably socially awkward. His girlfriend remarks on him having anxiety. Unfortunately, in young people today, this is especially common. You know, Zoomers, even millennials and alphas, like not alpha males, but like Generation Alpha, that's the youngest one coming up right now. There is like more of this kind of like social anxiety because they don't get socialized. And when you take into consideration that the whole world locked down for 2.5 years, I can understand that it's a challenge. And suicide rates did spike during the lockdowns. So that's another thing to take in consideration. But allegations like this are extremely, extremely dangerous. I don't think that a mild-mannered person could take it if they, because sometimes when you make these allegations and you have everyone coming after you, and I'm going to finish the article, but I just want to say, when you have this happening, look at even someone like Justice Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh was, trying to become Supreme Court Justice. So you would think that someone who has to be like a judge on the Supreme Court would have like, a very strong will very strong sense of purpose, right, to do their job. Like it's a very important position, and these allegations still drove him to tears. And of course, the people making the allegations, they just made fun of him for it. So this is the kind of sympathy that men get. Yes, Kavanaugh was their political enemy in the eyes of the people making these allegations, but it goes beyond that, in that because he is a man, they can make these allegations, and women generally will believe it if they think that it's, because they believe women. Like, they literally believe women. So with this guy, he's not like, he's just a kid, really. I mean, he's in his early 20s, or was in his early 20s, but he's just a kid. So how do you cope with that? What if you actually start to question whether or not you did do something? Maybe you did say something inappropriate. Maybe you you regret having said something that sounded, more suggestive than it actually is. This is a problem. So I got a super chat from, look here, I forgot the super chats. Send a super chats and I will read them. I got a super chat from Ringo Fedwin for $4.99, and it looks like it's a dancing peach. I'm gonna say it's a dancing peach. Thank you, Ringo, for the dancing peach emoji. All right, but anyway, let's read through the rest of this. Neben Bube says this girl harasses him and he hires her as an editor. LOL. I don't know. I mean, maybe he wanted to just have a professional relationship with her. She was supposedly very good at editing because he was very grateful for that. So she was helping him out. It was probably because I don't know anything about the Call of Duty cosplay community, but they probably do favors for each other, and there's a lot of networking and stuff, just like any other, right? So he probably didn't think that she was a snake until it was too late. I mean, my guess. So, okay, let's go on. According to some viewers, Tito and AJ created a plan to ruin Inquisitor's reputation. The plot to forge false allegations against Inquisitor3 began in mid to late September when Tito and his minor girlfriend AJ began exchanging texts like these, says The Dadvocate, a woman who has been following the incident on TikTok. Shout out to The Dadvocate, by the way. She's all right, from what I can tell. She proceeds to provide screenshots of messages between the perpetrators. One of these messages reads, quote, "It's not a life or death crisis, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep flirting with him," that's Inquisitor, "and see where it goes. If he starts to get sexual, then I will expose him. We just need better and more proof." AJ's attempt to seduce Inquisitor failed. Screenshots on Discord show AJ asking Inquisitor if they could get to know each other, to which the cosplayer replies, "Nope." AJ decides to lie and writes, "Why? I'm not a minor." This is another YouTuber with an opinion on this. It's a TikTok video. I will say that this woman, this AJ, she is a minor, but she's 17. I think that there is this suggestion because, like, her boyfriend Tito, he's like 20 or maybe 18. He's close to her age, and they're one of the things that I saw is, just as an aside, okay. One of the things that I saw is that some people were trying to suggest that this Tito guy is actually the pedophile because he's 20 or 18 or something and his girlfriend is 17. And I think that is, firstly, it's unnecessary. Like, he's already, guilty of essentially like pushing this guy to suicide. Like, that's enough, right? And I say that because I think that it's a very slippery slope to start pointing fingers at men and women, men who are older than women, but they're really close in age, even if she's technically under 18 and he's like over 18. I think that it's close enough that it's fine. Like, if they met when they were, like, when he was 16 and she was 14, nobody would see a problem with that, right? So if there's like a 2-year difference, who cares? I don't think that's important. I think what's important is that they collaborated to destroy this guy's reputation, and it ended up getting him killed. So when people make they're trying to throw in bonus points, it's not, I don't need it. Like, it's not necessary. If I'm objective about it, you know, I've dated girls younger than me, but if I was a little older, like I was at 18 years old in high school and she was like, you know, 16 years old in high school, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's pedophilia. I just don't, you know. We have an arbitrary line, more or less, but like it's and it depends on the state. Like in the US, some states it's 16, some states it's 18. There might be places in the world where it's lower. So I don't want to get caught up in that, because that's sort of like confusing the practical and real with the legal. But that doesn't matter. Like, what we're talking about is a false allegation that led to suicide. That's what matters. And they were trying to allege that he was a pedophile too. So this is also important. Okay. But anyway, yeah, they have Romeo and Juliet laws for people who were together like before one of them comes of age. And it makes sense. Again, it makes sense. All right. But anyway, let's play this video really quick.
That is a video of a 23-year-old cosplayer who just took his own life on live due to false allegations of him being a pedophile. This girl named Keegan's Mask, who's a part of the cosplay community, and her boyfriend, who has almost 1 million followers, took to their platforms and spread false allegations and lies about this 23-year-old man talking to minors. I just cannot believe these two individuals drove this man to take his life. I hope they are punished with the fullest extent of the law. A whole ass crime was just committed. Keegan's Mask, the girl involved in all of this, she has deactivated her TikTok, and her boyfriend has privated his TikTok. They are now backtracking with statements claiming that they never meant to do Inquisitor harm, but they pushed him to the brink of him taking his own life on live. I would even go as far to say this is manslaughter, and they should be punished.
All right. I'm gonna keep reading the article, and also, guys, call in. There's a link in the description to get into the Discord. Well, I got High Inquisitor Swashberry in there to make sure that, you know, all of your audio stuff is working, and he'll get a sense of what it is you want to talk about. You can talk about this story. You can talk about suicide more broadly. Maybe you know someone who is suicidal or has committed suicide or has talked about it or entertained it. Maybe you have. And if you have, maybe you have like some suggestions, like something that people can do, that like someone they can reach out to, some service or whatever, just something, right? Because this really bothers me. Like this is extremely evil behavior, and I don't like that people get caught up in these little details. That's why I stopped to talk about the age thing, because it doesn't really matter. Like if I think that accusing someone of pedophilia is more serious than, like, say, sexual assault or something. But if they weren't going to do that, then they want to destroy his reputation. They would have just done sexual assault or rape or something, right? Harassment. It would have been enough. Maybe their mistake was they went too far, and it was like, you know, too, I guess, easy to disprove in the long run. But apparently nobody really started looking into it until after he took his own life. So there's that. All right, anyway. So AJ then offers to edit Inquisitor's videos, which he accepts, not knowing that she is a minor. Then Tito and AJ work together to save the messages between her and Inquisitor. They then sent the screenshots to Keegan's Mask, a popular TikToker, and alleged that AJ was being groomed. So I want to comment too. Keegan's Mask is this girl. It has nothing to do with any of this, but her platform is massive, and she's probably a big old feminist. Let's be honest. Because if they brought the allegations to her and she didn't look into it, she didn't question it, she just ran with it, that means that she believed that this guy would do that. And that sounds like some shit a feminist would do. Just saying. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think. Okay. Unfortunately, it appears that she chose to believe Tito and AJ. Tito and Keegan's Mask began saving any and every message that read as even remotely flirty between the two of them. That would be AJ and the Inquisitor and their campaign against them, adds the Dadvocate. Here's another video. I will play this one. Oh, that's the one we already watched. Let's just keep going. Eventually, after rumors spread that he was speaking with a minor, Inquisitor realized that what was happening and asked AJ to stop texting him. Then in early October, Keegan's Mask reportedly shared the interactions between the cosplayer and the minor on TikTok. However, she posted the messages without context, so it ended up portraying Inquisitor as a predator and a pedophile. The enthusiastic responses Inquisitor sent to AJ may have come off as flirtatious without any additional information. One of the messages Inquisitor sent was, "I'ma marry you and thank you, honey," because this wasn't because he was actually making a proposal. Also, he didn't know that she was a minor. She kept lying to him about her age, but that is not important. This is just him being excited about how good of a job she was doing on editing videos for him. So he was just like, it's like, you know, somebody does you a favor, you're like, oh my God, I love you, right? You don't really mean it. It's not to be taken literally. But I guess now, guys, you just have to say you have to watch what you say around women. You just have to not talk to them, I guess. Like, that's kind of where this is going, right? But Inquisitor wasn't actually trying to get with the minor. He was just very excited and thankful for the edits that she made. The thing Keegan's Mask, left out, however, is that these were just enthusiastic responses to him finding out that she had created so many edits for him in such a brief amount of time. And so fully believing that she is an adult. The rumor spread like wildfire in the TikTok community, and the comments eventually got to Inquisitor, who struggled with anxiety. A screenshot of a Discord message from Inquisitor on September 20th reads, "I'm very scared, not gonna lie. I care so much for my community, and the last thing I want is them seeing me like some monster." Tito and Keegan's Mask have a lot of followers compared to Inquisitor. The weight of the allegations and online attacks against him was too much to bear, and so he decided to end his life. So after that, prior to Tito deleting his account, because he deleted his account in shame, he said that he didn't want AJ to expose Inquisitor and that he is a man of God, and he didn't want any of this to happen. Before Keegan's Mask left TikTok, she made a video of herself staring out the window looking solemn. She wrote, "Me watching minors blatantly lie about their content creators for attention," adding that she was taking a break from social media for her mental health. She has also made a public apology. So Keegan's Mask comes out and apologizes. I don't buy any of this shit. I just want to point out, I don't buy it. Let's see if this is still here. Okay, oh my God, is this a fucking poem? What is this? Prose? "I acted on what I thought was true, factual information from someone I trusted. At no point did I wish harm against the Inquisitor, and it hurts me to hear the news of his passing. But I will not accept death threats, doxing, and false allegations on how I handled the situation. As I said, I acted on what I was to believe was factual information from someone I had trusted and was used. Why do you believe all women?" This is the problem. I'm gonna call it right now. Keegan's Mask did this because she is a woman and she thinks that women never lie. And so she went along with it, and now she's trying to say, oh, I'm getting death threats, I'm getting doxing, I'm getting allegations. Welcome to being a man, I guess, on the internet. I'm a victim. I'm a victim in this, right? I'm the victim. Not the suicide guy, not the guy who's no longer with us, me. I have taken down all posts regarding the situation, both out of respect for Inquisitor as well as the emerging details that the allegations may have been false. No, they were false, and you know it. I wanted to use my platform for good, to expose allegations, to find a deeper truth. I never wanted to escalate the way it has. Yeah, because you think that these are the only men can commit these, can be this way. Only men can be like this. Okay. So anyway, this continues. So now we have all of the people involved are crying victim. I saw Tito appeared on Chloe Roma's channel. They did like an interview, and And I mean, I have to, all credit to Chloe Roma for bringing him on, getting him on, getting Tito on, and essentially tearing apart his story. But the point is that they all tried to play victim, and even Roma was really like, she was going very easy on the girl because she was a minor. She claims that Tito groomed this underage girl to flirt with this guy to make an allegation. Like, I'm sorry, but she's not 12. She's 17. She knows what she's doing. Like, I mean, this is constantly, like, trying to put it all on men. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting. So anyway. Yeah, and he's not a man of God. That's right. That's a lie. He's trying to hide behind that. That's not true. No way. Okay, anyway. AJ allegedly posted a statement on TikTok to apologize for her actions. So allegedly, we don't have the statement. But she says, I didn't mean to hurt him. I went way too far with this. It said he didn't deserve that. And I know it's too late to apologize. It's too late to apologize. But I hope one day you can forgive me for my stupid actions. She requested people to stop sending death threats to everyone involved. The best thing to do is just not hate, she adds. A person died. Please do better. COD community, I will do better myself. Rest in peace, Vincent. Remember when people on Call of Duty would just call you gay? So, I miss that. So yeah, so that's the story. I think all the parties involved that pushed this guy to this point should suffer some kind of consequence. But what I'm hoping is that people in this space are going to get red pilled by this, because this is what I mean. When I say before, the only way people are going to start to change is if there's suffering. I don't want suffering, but that seems to be the only way people take notice. And I did notice under Roma's video, which was exposing Tito, as a co-conspirator or collaborator on this terrible. These terrible actions that drove this man to suicide, because she was still giving the AJ, the 17-year-old girl, she was still giving her an out by claiming that she was groomed, which I think is ridiculous. People were calling her out on it in her comments section. They were like, "It's all you're always looking to blame the men. How about we just hold them both accountable?" And I'm like, yeah, how about we hold them both accountable? How about we hold everyone accountable? All three of them. AJ, Tito, and what's her name? Mask. I mean, why is this hard? Why is this hard? Okay. So, I'm ready to take some calls. I did get a message here, so I'm going to read it. And then, I guess we'll take your calls. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna be only going for, wow. I started a little late, so I guess I'm at about 5:15. So maybe in about a half an hour, I'm gonna end the show. So I'm gonna be taking calls for the next half hour, and then I'm gonna do a patron show. So if you join us on the patron show, I'm gonna be looking at this article. This is like completely different subject. Report, Pixar chief Pete Docter believes company has drifted too far from its storytelling roots. You don't say. You don't say. All right, but anyway, let's get close up here, and I'm gonna take some questions and calls. So, F's in the chat for Inquisitor, which is actually really appropriate because wasn't press F to pay respects a Call of Duty thing? Seems kind of appropriate. And also, his fans, so one of his dreams was to have him as a skin in a Call of Duty game. And the people in the community are signing a petition to get his skin made. And I think it's probably reached its goal. I'll find it for you guys, and I'll put it in the description. I just remembered the petition, so let's hope so. Let's hope so. Even though Activision and they're pretty woke, so I don't know if they're gonna do it, but they said that they'll consider it, so we'll see. Okay. So Hi, Inquisitor Swashberry, my Inquisitor of the call-in show. Says, Great Love Immortal Venerable will not be coming on the show today, but would like to request that you interview Anil Murthy, a founding member of the Save Indian Family Foundation, Twitter handle RealSIFF. He has been an active MRA since 2005 and can provide valuable insight on Indian law and culture and the measurable effect it has had on men. Yes, I emailed him like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But yes, I will definitely get him on. I'll try again, and maybe I'll just follow him on Twitter, and then we'll figure something out from there. So, thank you, Swash, and thank you, Great Love Immortal Venerable. That's a kind of a mouthful. All right, in the chat, in the Rumble, we got a Rumble rant. What up? NobaFan21 gives us $1 and says, F for respect. What I worry is if this evolves into mandatory Good Samaritan laws. And here I thought the comic of a feminist robot accusing men of ignore grape was impossible. All right. So, are there any other calls? I see Scapegoat is in the screening room. I don't know if he's going to come on and ask a question. But yeah, so let me ask you guys this, because I think this is becoming a bit of a conversation. Since no one's going to call in, I'm going to ask you guys. What do you think should there be a penalty for these allegations? I think I know maybe that's just some rhetorical question, but I got to ask, okay? Should there be a penalty to people who make false allegations or build a story, to frame someone or destroy someone's reputation? And what should it be? What do you think the penalty should be? Like, should it be prison time, a fine, whatever, And should it also be applied to minors? Because this girl, she's 17, so she's a minor technically, but she's like right there, right at the cusp, right? So, I mean, am I being a bit like radical by saying she should absolutely face whatever the penalties an adult would for the same thing? And what should that be? Because I don't know that we even have a law for people who make false allegations. It's one of the things that we've talked about. Why do women feel like they can make false allegations? Well, they're not penalized for it, right? I mean, nothing happens if it turns out to be a lie. Okay, somebody's asking for the Discord link. Hold on a second. It should be up to date, but now I feel like I need to look. Are you guys having problems getting into the Discord? All right. Hold on a second. I'm just sending this through. Remember, the Discord link is in the description of this video. So look in the description, the link. All right. Nabin Bubba says false accusers should face the same penalty as the accused convicted of the supposed crime would have gotten. I agree. I think that it should be the same. So this way you're not going to make the allegation, and it has to be proven false. So because sometimes, like a lot of times, because rape is really hard to prove, or whatever, because it's really hard to prove, if the person is found not guilty, it doesn't mean that person lied. It might mean that it just couldn't be proven, right? But I think that if you can prove that this is a false allegation with the express purpose of ruining somebody or throwing them in jail or whatever, I absolutely think there should be penalties for that. Okay, let me see. Final Midnight says, with my involvement with the court system, one thing I have learned is that the courts are a very poor substitute for parenting. It is very much a blunt instrument. Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's one that women can use. Graydendor says, what is difficult for me is the fact that this guy was driven to suicide by mob pressure. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, he was probably a pretty sensitive, I assume he was a very sensitive soul. So probably, more prone to being affected by this kind of pressure than the average bear. But Yeah, I don't think that makes it okay. I think that it's extremely unethical. It's evil, really. John Smith says, men don't have a good reputation to ruin by default. You can't damage a good reputation that does not exist. Well, that's true. But I guess that, because he was popular. So, all right. And Swashberry says, I guess we got a call. Scapegoat has recently struggled with thoughts of suicide. As he is currently recovering, he would like to discuss the way that people like this often feel like they are at the end of the story and there's nothing left in their life. But sometimes even a small change is all it takes to get started. All right, well, I'm going to bring Scapegoat in here. Again, if you guys want, please feel free to call in, share your thoughts, argue with me, whatever. And I'm going to bring in Scapegoat. So here we go. Welcome to this call, Scapegoat. What's on your mind? Can you talk? Hello? Hello? I'm gonna move him back for now. I don't know is he muted? Let me because I don't know why, but I can't hear him. Just make sure that his audio is working. Do it in the questions chat. Do it in the questions chat, not in the general, because then I can't see it. All right. Ola Kag. Well, I can't pronounce that, but he's Ola Kakba says, I think it should be a crime to make false allegations, and it should give prison time. Yeah, I guess you have to prove intent. That's the tricky part. I think in this case there was clearly intent. Like, you got the receipts, you could see the conversation, you could see that the goal was to essentially tarnish his reputation. Well, okay, Scapegoat, we're gonna try again. I'm gonna bring him in here. All right, hello, Scapegoat. Oh, I think I hear something.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
All right. I wanted to tell, it's like I've been struggling with suicide myself, and I can firsthand say what the whole thing kind of feels like. And oh, I'm sorry, one moment. There's an echo.
It's all right. Oh, are you getting an echo from me?
Yeah, because I'm listening to the show on my computer.
Oh,
sorry.
you got a mute over there. Yeah. Okay.
That was silly of me. Anywho, when it comes to suicidal ideation, I can describe the feeling as you are being crushed by a wave of despair. And I could liken the feeling as to being quite literally, not literally, but the feeling of being underwater. There's like the sensation of floating.
Yeah.
And it's like being in a deprivation tank. Like, your eyes function, your ears function, there is physically nothing wrong with you. But the feeling, it's like when you're in the middle of that wave, you can't see anything, you can't hear anything, and like nothing seems to process. And while you're in that state, it seems like you cannot perceive the future. Like, any ideas about what the future could hold. It's like even tomorrow seems like extremely far away. And the unfortunate thing is, I was talking with Swash, people who don't have these feelings kind of feel it's like poetic lyricism as to what it feels like. And I would like to say this, like, no, it's like these feelings are quite literal. I can't hear anything, I can't see anything, I can't perceive anything. And me and my family had been evicted earlier this year, and we're kind of, it's like I was put in this financial situation in which it felt like there was nothing left for me, because it's like I was screwed out of my money that I had been saving up for years. I'm put in a state in which it felt like even when I was even when I was safe, I kind of felt like I was stuck in one place, and like oh, well, I'm living with family right now, and I'm living with family that seems to hate me. This is going to be my life. This is going to be the rest of my life. What is the point of living if it's going to be nothing but misery from here on out?
Yeah.
You get into this idea that nothing will change, that you are living in a personal hell for the rest, it's like for the rest of your existence. And people have this idea of if they even if they believe in religion, it's like anything is better than here. And me and Swash were talking about needing to make some kind of bold decision in order to break that kind of feedback loop, that internal feedback loop, and the like the cycles that we put ourselves in. It's like, and one of the things that I try to do is I try to be very physical and I try to be very active. And I will say, it's like having some kind of physical process in order to that you can progress at.
Yeah.
Does help a little. It's like does help a little bit. And I will say, as hard as it is, there needs to be a level of spontaneity in your life that you do something crazy, you do something insane that you probably wouldn't have thought to do before in order to break that loop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how? So what works for you, or are you still struggling with this?
It's for me. It's gotten better. Like after we got evicted, I had to deal with the crushing wave. Like I spoke on the mental health chat with Allison, and I described as this wave being kind of periodic, in which I could almost time it out as like, well, it's happening every other day. I feel like this wave of despair crushing over me every other day, and it lasts for about this long. I would say one of the things that kind of helps is learning to articulate. Wow, learning to articulate exactly what is happening to you, what you're feeling, and kind of mentally compartmentalize what that feeling is.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that kind of helped is like putting the idea in your head that this feeling of despair, who you are under this wave, isn't entirely you.
Right.
This feeling isn't you. This isn't what makes the entirety of your existence. Put it aside for now, or feel it. It's like have a moment to feel it, but put in your head that it's going to subside. At least the momentary, like the most intense feeling is going to subside.
Yeah.
And and being able to do that and being able to stay active kind of helped me. It's like kind of helped me mitigate the frequency in which those waves crash onto me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the point in which like I haven't had like an attack like that in a little over a month, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
It happens every once in a while, but it's kind of rare at this point. One of the other things is that change. I changed my job. One of the reasons why I felt so miserable is that I realized that my job was disrespecting me in every possible way, and I kind of got into the mental state of like getting. Here's another thing you can do to actually help: get angry. Getting really angry about something can actually motivate you to do something, or at the very least, it actually keeps your mind mentally running in not in circles, but it's like mentally active, because anger is active, but being sad is kind of inert, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I think that there is definitely a place for it. I know that some people would say that's toxic masculinity, but I mean that those people want you to commit suicide though. They want you to just, like they don't want you to actually express your emotions in the way that that your body wants, which is probably what it needs. So they're just I mean, like, this is why mental health services, they just don't, they're not good for men. They're not even like considering the male perspective. So
No, it's a fucking racket.
yeah, it's absolutely. So like you have to, essentially, men are just, we have to just figure this shit out on our own, because like the pros don't they don't even understand men. Like they literally don't understand male psychology for some reason. At least most of them don't. So
The,
go ahead.
I will say this. One of the biggest things that actually helped me kind of get into a better mental state in which I could actually be proactive about things. It's like people need other people in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
They need confidants. They need someone who is actually willing to listen. And we also have the responsibility to listen to other people when they're in that state. And I feel like the people who have been through the suicidal ideation, been through this mental crushing of waves and all that stuff, we have such a capacity to understand not just the mentality, but also the somatic blindness that we have. And we kind of owe it to other people that when we see it happen, we should be able to recognize it and actually be that confidant. And
Yeah.
I know it's one of those things of like, you can't really help someone else until you're in a good place yourself. So I wish I could articulate this better, but I think ultimately I want to say we need to be there for other people, and other people
Yes.
need to be there for us.
Yeah, well, yes, I think that's one of the things that I think that's good about what we do here, is that we try to provide some community, because men need community, and they need a kind of community that is, going to be, let's say, engage in more encouragement, and like support, as opposed to like shaming or putting people down. So yeah, I think that we men can figure out a lot of stuff, and they prefer solutions over talking about the problem. But I think that community and I guess fellowship with other men is crucial, or just other people. Like, there's good women too. But
Of course.
yeah.
I will also say this. I was taught about this as a programmer friend told me about like duck problems, that this programmer would have a duck on his desk and kind of vocalize the problem to that duck, and then as they are vocalizing it, they actually figure out a solution to the problem.
Yeah, sure. That's like talking to a woman. If you let them talk about the problems and you just listen, they'll usually they'll solve it themselves, So then I feel like I helped just by being the duck, like you said.
Yes. I do feel like some of us do need to be the duck, and like
Yeah.
a lot of us do try to jump to like a solution to the problem when it feels like, did you even listen to what I said? Is like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I say it was like we need to be listened to, it's like we need to actually listen and comprehend and actually absorb everything that's being said, and then try to tackle the problem.
Yes.
It's like I feel like it's like sometimes we can be a little too hasty in trying to figure out a solution, as opposed to just taking the time to absorb all of it. And it's a lot of burden. It is shouldering a lot of somebody else's burden. But there will come a day in which like somebody needs to shoulder your burden, and it's like you kind of count on other people to be there for you, and so you have to do the same thing for them, paying it forward or cashing in and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess, like, any other thoughts before I end the call? Like, you have anything else you want to say? People in the audience are saying that they hear you and they feel, you know, the way you feel. Some of them, and they just want to empathize. So, do you have anything that you want to add or say?
There is. People have this, like, this is a modern concept that has been so pervasive as of late, that you peak at like 25 or you peak at 20, or the barrier of success ends at 30.
Yeah.
I need to say something. We are living for a lot longer, for better or worse. There is so much more life ahead of you past your 20s, and you have to deal with that. And you have to approach, it's like you have to approach that with honesty. The days in which like our lives kind of get set on the path at 20 is kind of over. Now that it's like with the advent of it's like with modernity happening.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be stuck in this kind of perpetuating cycle that your life is over. Because it's like your life ends pretty much when you want it to. So don't make it now.
Yeah. All right, well said. Yeah, I mean, I turned 50 a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I had a what the hell are you doing with your life moment, but it's like, oh, I actually like what I'm doing, and I'm hoping to stick around for another 50. So
I like what you're doing too. Happy birthday, by the way.
Well, thank you. Oh, that was like September, but I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, well, I'm gonna move you back into the screening room. Yeah, thanks so much for the call in, and appreciate your perspective.
I appreciate the show, Bri.
All right, I'm gonna move you back. Okay, so that was Scapegoat. Is no one else gonna call? Because if not, I'm gonna do a couple little things about suicide specifically, and then I guess we'll go into the patron show, because I got a lot going on today. So I am looking at the screening room in case somebody else wants to jump in and say something. I saw somebody ask me specifically for the link so they can get in here. So I don't know why they're not in here, but okay. Anyhow, so I want to look at the suicide statistics. These are the most recent ones, so it only goes up to 2022. And as we know, statistics are always changing. But if you see suicide deaths, about 100,000 deaths. It looks like that we're looking at the overall from 2021 to 2022. It's gone up a little, about 2%. But that's, I mean, obviously we want to live in a world where there are no suicides, but sometimes it happens. But when you look at the gender split, you see that men are the winners. There is a suicide gap, and men have too much, and it's gone up for both men and women. Gone up everywhere across the board, basically. Except for if you're an American Indian or Alaska Native. So I guess the natives have it good, I guess. So their suicide rate's gone down, but it wasn't very high to begin with. But notice again, when you break it down by, I guess, racial group, white men have the highest rates of suicide. Do you think that the American Psychological Association or the United Nations or Citizens United or the SPLC, do you think any of them are going to raise a flag and say, well, we should do something about this? Do you think any of these progressive institutions are going to try to, figure out what's happening with white men? But especially men, because it's definitely the overwhelming majority. Like, if you broke down this white into male and female, it would probably be like mostly male and very little female. Yeah, they are the winners. And let's see, I think this is the same kind of chart. You see again, whites in 2021, 36,681. In 2022, 37,459. And again, if you break it down by gender, the females only make up about 9,000, 10,000. The males make up about 40,000. So 4 times higher. 4 times higher in men, right? And in the age group, again, it's like the middle age. It's the middle-aged people, 25 to 64, but especially the 25 through 44. That's the highest rate. So this isn't like, oh, I'm old and I don't care anymore, right? So there was that. I wanted to share that, and I know that I brought this up before, that this has been a specific problem for white men. But I'm raising it again because, again, this brings me back to what I've been saying before. People who have an intersectional lens that they look at the world through, even if they claim to be MRAs, they are not going to be useful because they're going to be looking at white privilege and they're not going to be looking at this chart. All right. So we know that suicide. What is the CDC doing to address this? Let's find out. So they're supporting states, tribes, territories, non-governmental organizations, and university research programs to address 4 strategic priority areas in suicide prevention. Data. Using new and existing data to better understand, monitor, and prevent suicide and suicidal behavior. Science. Identifying risk and protective factors and effective policies, programs, and practices for suicide prevention in populations that increase risk for suicide. Action. Building a foundation for CDC's National Suicide Prevention Program and collaboration, developing and implementing wide-reaching partnership and communication strategies to raise awareness and advance suicide prevention activities. What do you think would really happen? Let me ask you this, because groups like the CDC and the UN and the American Psychological Association and the British Health Association and the Canadian healthcare system and other major institutions that do work in psychiatry or psychology, do you think that they would look at the suicide rate for men, and in particular white men, and say, what is it that we are not doing for them? Or do you think they will say, what is it that those men are doing to themselves to put them in this position? What is the predominant narrative around being a man in society when the topic of suicide comes up? What do they say about men committing suicide? What do they say? Do they say that, oh, we should probably stop shitting on them all the time? Or that we should look into what it is in their life that they are missing? Or we should invest in, allowing men to socialize and form bonds and community with other men? What do you think? What do you think their answer is? And how good do you think that will be? So by state, I guess they have some set up by state. This is unfortunately, this is only in the U.S. I'd be curious about other countries though. But it looks like Virginia, where I live, is not doing bad, and Illinois isn't bad either. But I guess most people are getting shot, not necessarily suicided. Age-adjusted death rates. Why is Alaska so high? Is it really tough there? Well, suicide rates by state, yeah. Looks like Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, pretty bad. South Dakota, Colorado, New Mexico. Crazy. Alaska, it's like the king. I guess it's cold up there, but I don't know. What counts as a suicide? Anyway, and check this out. This brings me back to what I was getting at before. This is from PBS News org. CDC data shows U.S. teen girls in crisis with unprecedented rise in suicidal behavior. PBS looked at this and said, oh no, the girls. And look, I know it's hard. I know that girls have it hard. I know that they deal with shit. I know that we put them on SSRIs, which we probably shouldn't be doing. But when you look at this data and your first thought is, what about the girls? Like, it's in crisis. it's and then of course they go into some other shit like this is not long ago. This is February of this year. The pandemic took a harsh toll on U.S. teen girls' mental health, with almost 60% reporting feelings of persistent sadness or hopelessness, according to a government survey released Monday that bolsters earlier data. Sexual violence, suicidal thoughts, suicidal behavior, and other mental health woes affected many teens, regardless of race or ethnicity, but girls and LGBTQ youth fared the worst in most measures, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report. So, men kill themselves more often, women most affected. Anyway, it doesn't look like I'm going to get any more calls, and we are getting to the end of this, so I'm going to put out a statement. No more questions. And we're going to end it there. But thank you, Scapegoat, for calling in and giving us your thoughts. And thank you guys for coming on. I know this is kind of a last minute unofficial call-in show. I will do another one on the 3rd, so this next Friday. This will be the 3rd of November. So come check me out then. I'll have something else, hopefully something a little bit more fun to talk about. But I'm gonna head into the patron show right now and read through this Pixar article, or this Mounting in the Comics article about or regarding Pixar. So yeah, I hope I will see you guys there. So we're gonna wrap it up there. If you guys like this video, please smash like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed. Please support us, our monthly fundraiser, by going to feedthebadger.com/support. Send us a super chow by going to feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And be sure to subscribe to my gaming channel. I'm going to be uploading short videos and doing streams. It is October, so we're doing spooky streams. I've been playing through Alien Isolation and Resident Evil 5 with my wife. And I will, on the last day, maybe like Monday the 30th, I will be playing some PT, because I've never played it before, and I have it on my hard drive, and you can't get it anymore. It's the Silent Hill demo, or the Silent Hill teaser, I think they called it, that never saw the light of day. So, come check it out with me, because I'm going to be seeing it for the very first time. So, with all that said, like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Lodge, and we will talk to you all in the next video.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.